War Room Sports presents the War Room, episode 232. 10 times better. Yeah, 10 times better.
WarRoomSports.com, WarRoomSportsTV.com. The War Room begins now.
Blog Talk Radio.
What's happening? This is Michael Smith, the His from His and Hers on ESPN2, and you are in the War Room on War Room Sports Podcast Network.
Welcome to the War Room. We got Dev, Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the Hot Block Commander. Give it to you how you want it in the 1 or 2 hour show to keep the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level. Bold with the topics, sorta like some rebels. When it's game time, they like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerate to speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4 for 26, so the war in Kuwait. It's the War Room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys diversified and educated.
What up, sports fans? You are back on the mothership, baby Baba. You are once again live in the War Room, sports on the WRS Podcast Network. I'm Devin McMillan. I'm here at the round table with the sports hosts with the absolute most. We got Jimmy the Blueprint Williams and that dude B. Austin. We got a great show for you today, but what's new? That's what we do. So join us right now in the JW Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/the War Room. Or join us on Facebook or Twitter at War Room Sports. You can be a part of the conversations as they get underway. You can also call us directly when we open up the Digital Extreme Tech Hotline. That number, as it is every week, 323-400-0012. But before we get started, as we always do around this time, we got to give shout-outs to the other shows on the War Room Sports Podcast Network. You can listen to our network straight from our main site. That's warroomsports.com. Or you can get there directly at WRSPN.com. You'll find shows such as The War Room with your boys, Dev, B. Austin, and Jimmy. You can find The Broad Street Line with Roy and Chris. Proud Black Me Radio with Mojo and Peter. The Tissue and the Tape Hip Hop Show with Phil and Savad. Sports Track Brandon and Anthony, and a whole lot of other top quality programming. And as you can see, it's very diverse programming. It's not just sports, but if you want another place where you can hear all of the sports shows on WRSPN, you can go over to fatsradio.com. That's PHATZ radio.com. They house in syndication all of the War Room Sports Podcast Network sports shows. You can catch the War Room over there Sundays and Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Fellas, let me get something straight. I got to ask you guys this. If we see movie trailers for a film that we don't particularly like, or we don't like how the trailer is looking, what to do is send terroristic threats to stop the release? Like, how come y'all didn't tell me about this before?
Yo, shout out to
what's up with that?
It's out of pocket, man. But I mean, you know, there's a lot of things that shouldn't have been made. But you know, shout out to Tyler Perry.
Now we know how to put the kibosh on them.
Yeah, man, that story's out of control. Everything coming from that leak with Sony, like it's nothing good. Then again, that the good stuff wouldn't get reported on, but it's just terrible for them right now, man.
Sony trashed their actors.
We're not making any more Denzel Washington flicks because the world is racist. They don't like it.
Yeah. But is it truth in it?
Yeah.
Like, sometimes people try to take that as like they were being racist, but I didn't really read that as being racist. It's truth in that.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
I can see
totally
it. Now that we got a new method, I can see the movie Selma getting shut down. People out there that don't want to see that. They don't want to see their grandfather and grandmother portrayed in that way. So I can see that movie getting shut down. Oh well. What can you do? All right, but what's up in the movie? I'm out of touch. We do our thing every year around the time the Oscars come out, Jim. I haven't seen anything this year, so that means my Oscar cram is going to be legendary this year. Before we do our prediction show.
Yeah, I always do an Oscar cram, but for the most part, like for me, movies Out, No Homo. Yo, movies suck right now. It's all about the TV shows and the great content on TV. And like with Netflix now doing what they're doing in terms of original content, they're stepping the game up. So I'm into series now. Like when we were talking earlier, and B. Austin was talking about how he's binge watching like Boardwalk Empire. Like binge watching is where it's at these days, yo. Even stuff that comes on TV, I don't watch live. I'd rather binge watch.
Yeah, that's better than a movie. It's like you watching 2 movies.
Yeah,
but we still got to do our thing every year with the Oscars, especially since we started the prediction show last year on World Sports TV. So we're still gonna have to, we're gonna have to binge watch movies when that time comes because I have
pretty much
nothing in the theaters except for
as long as they watch that movie
animated
last
movies.
year when they was in space. That dumbass movie you had me watching, yo, and she was. That movie was stupid.
Yeah, shout out to
that
Gravity.
movie was hot. Gravity was hot.
Terrible.
Yeah, I don't think B. Austin ever watched that Oscar special. Jimmy got some choice words about Gravity. But so that's gonna be crazy this year because the only thing I can tell y'all I probably can predict right now is animated movies because that's all I've seen. So I gotta get back on my theme. All right, but let's
You got kids.
Yeah, I got kids. So let's talk some sports because that's what we're here to do. And I'll let everybody know what happened this week while y'all were on the grind. And while you were on the grind is brought to you as usual by DirecTV. If you'd like a better TV experience than cable has to offer, including that NFL Sunday ticket that you will most likely have to wait till next year to get, go to our website, warroomsports.com, click on the DirecTV logo, and order yourself a better TV experience at a discounted War Room Sports sign-up rate. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to have DirecTV. All right, social media. We know social media is where it's at. We do a lot of our communicating on social media. We know Washington quarterback Robert Griffin III does a lot of communicating on social media, but he has said recently that he's going in another direction and he's going to unplug from Twitter and Facebook, until after the season. I mean, the season is 2 weeks away from being over. So, find time to pick to do this when everybody told you to shut up months ago. What do you guys think about this? Because he's basically saying he's tired of his words. Like everything he says on social media, he's tired of it getting twisted up and people throwing it back at him, taking shots at him, this and that. What do you guys think?
I think it's the move of a coward.
Damn.
I think that, you need to be responsible for your words and your thoughts. Don't censor yourself and don't let others dictate to you what you do. I mean, he hasn't been showing nudes. He hasn't been, throwing out the illicit and illegal implications or the thoughts. He just lets people in on what he's thinking. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't apologize for it. Don't back down from it. Don't disparage your team or your teammates or the organization. And outside of that, I mean, for what reason? Because there's a little bit of pressure from the fans or from the media on the fact that you can't play football and you're just a dumb athlete. You're gonna shut your social media voice down because of that. But you haven't sat back and said this dude need to shut up anytime, during his career. I mean, he tweeting photos and on the stands, sending them wedding gifts and stuff like that. So maybe it's not shut yourself down. Stop saying dumb stuff. Just be cognizant. Just be cognizant and use your brain and get in touch with reality and understand, the audience that you're tweeting to or Facebooking to or Instagramming to or Tumblr. If he was on Tumblr, it would be a different story. But if he, understand, he has done and said some very dumb things. But I don't think that's a reason to be a coward and run from the media or run from the audience. Just change the way you use your filter and your voice. That's all.
I'm wondering if he's going to stick to it, Jim. I'm wondering if he's going to not Facebook and tweet during the season for the rest of his career. It's easy to say I'm going to shut down for 2 games.
All right, here's my problem with the whole thing, right? All right, my problem is this. First off, I'm tired. He's talking about he's tired of. I'm tired of hearing about you. It is nothing positive and nothing football related. It's just like, he's always in the news and it's never for anything good. Like, that's my one problem. My second problem is if that's what you're going to do, why announce it? Just fall back. You don't have to like make a public announcement what you're doing. Just don't do it.
Of course he does, because he wants the attention. He loves it.
Wow, that's funny. This story's been out. Man, what happened to Richard? But this story's been out for a few days now, and I never even thought about that angle. Like, yeah, why are you announcing it? Just roll out.
Yeah, like,
that's a good point, Jim. Well, he's not a Nike guy; he's an Adidas guy. So
yeah, maybe that's why.
He's like, I can't just do it because that's going to be a breach of my contract. All right, well,
isn't Derrick Rose an Adidas guy?
Yeah.
Don't they both stay injured? Never mind. Go ahead.
Yo, well, speaking of Nike and just doing it, a Memphis man has been charged with theft of property after driving away with a truck that contained 7,500 pairs of the newest, the LeBron 12s, which the whole truck had a retail value of approximately $1.5 million in shoes. Now, the crazy part about that is the declared value of the merchandise was only $623, $200, but that's because that's how much, that's how much they sell them to the retailers for. And then the retailers, that's about $83.10 a pair. Retailers turn around and sell them to all the Richard heads in the streets for $200, and everybody flocks to buy this stuff. So, they said when they caught up to the dude, there was about 700 pairs missing. So dude came up a little bit before he got caught. Because I'm thinking, even if he given a discount, he might be selling them for 100, 150. So if you go 150 times 700, like, his kid's having a nice little Christmas, even though he gonna be behind bars. What do y'all think about this story?
I was much like Robin Hood. I was rooting for him. I wish he would have planned it a little bit better and a little bit smarter, because what he could have done is cornered the market. Because as we know, in the Haji stores and the Asian market, when they sell those lower class knockoffs, and they still get them off for like $180, and it's only a $20 discount. Imagine bringing an actual, true, real product to the marketplace, authentic, and being able to offer a $50 discount. Man, he was about to cream up. What do you got, Clark?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely crazy. But there's no way you ever get. You're not getting away with that. So like, sometimes when I see people commit certain crimes, I'm like, yo, you wasn't getting away with that. Like, cut it out, B.
Yo, he was an employee of the company that ran the trucks. He was an employee of the cargo transportation company called Intermodal Cartage Group, and he used his ID card to get into a secure lot and drive away with the truck.
Like
this was a planned heist. This wasn't like, this was a planned heist. This wasn't a mistake. He like, yo, my company getting them new LeBrons that's supposed to come out soon. I got y'all. If y'all got me, I got you.
The problem with this move, it beyond the morality of it, and it's just wrong to steal. So teach your children that it's wrong to steal, and hopefully they won't end up in this situation. But why is it that you would have to steal 7,500 pairs of LeBron? Wasn't there a way for you to just get 100 boxes or 50 boxes?
I guess you had to take the. You had to take the
whole thing,
because I guess it's probably surveillance in the lot, so he probably didn't have time to go into the truck, grab 100 boxes. He had to just take the loot. He had to take the whole thing.
Right.
But it sounds greedy. It definitely sounds greedy. All right, well. We'll see what happens to him. All right, Ray McDonald from the 49ers is back in the news. We know that he just went through this whole thing. He was under the microscope, especially because of the whole Ray Rice situation. He had a domestic violence charge, pending. He never got
in trouble for that, ever got cut from the San Francisco 49ers. But the Niners did announce Wednesday that they released him because he's now in the midst of sexual assault allegations. So they stood by him, and we kind of commended the 49ers for standing by him when, at a time when other teams weren't doing that with their players and you didn't know if he was innocent or guilty. They was going to let due process take its course. But now they're saying if this was one incident, we would be standing up talking about due process like we have multiple times in multiple other situations. But this is just a pattern of decision making that Ray has demonstrated over a period of time that once again it's no longer going to be tolerated. So listen to that statement, it sounds like they think he was the first crime. So what do you guys think about Ray McDonald in the news again for something negative?
Old McDonald takes the cookie. I think that they made the right decision from a business standpoint. They obviously have done some level or measure of due diligence on both of these situations, as well as his past history, because he does have a history. And I think they're trying to get out in front of this because he's gone to the well too many times. And before he actually faces serious litigation, they just rather rinse their hands of him and get rid of it. I mean, there's no loss. They can't make the playoffs. Why stick him around and why pay that salary?
Good point. Hopefully, man, one thing we do here on the War Room podcast is give out these JoJo awards, and a lot of times it's for this type of behavior, man. But it's like the NFL. When I think about this entire season, this has been a rough season for the league, yo. They just gotta hopefully get out of this season unscathed, yo. Because moving forward, they're gonna start really roofing these dudes, man. Because they gotta get it. They gotta get it together. It's out of control right now. I mean, you got the NFL, the league that's brought domestic violence to the forefront, that's brought spousal abuse to the forefront. It's just, everything, man. It's just out of control right now, and they have to get control of it, man. Yo, he's about to get out too and be right back in the league. You got tight ends literally catching bodies.
Yeah, it has been rough for the league, and like you said, they're probably not too keen on having to all of a sudden become the face of these
sexual assault
crimes, because now you see NFL players on commercials. Let's get the conversation started, and Chris Carter trying to get his act on and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, the NFL is at the forefront for everything that's wrong in the country right now. And I'm sure that's not what the league or any executives in the league signed up for. But hey, real life happens. Real life happens.
Wait, hold on. Did Deb just call Chris Carter out for getting on TV and looking down?
Yeah, you saw that commercial, man. I ain't gonna front. I'm gonna give him his props. He did a pretty good job. Eyes was red. That probably
almost got you.
But no, I'm just saying. I thought he was a pretty good actor in the commercial. I said he had the tears in his eyes. His eyes were red. Just said that could have been for something else.
Yeah, he probably had pinged a little line before he did that though. But
no, Jimmy, he don't like lines. He inhales.
Oh. Yo, I ain't say that.
Chris, that's them, homie.
Yeah, Ray. They made a decision, just like you said. That was a business decision. The 49ers being located where they are in the country and the type of community that they're based in, they can't afford to not take the right steps where sexual assault is concerned, because that's something that even the Pink Mafia would champion. And they would be in a heck of a quandary had they not made that move to just go ahead and sever ties. Whatever his salary is, they saved themselves 1/8 of his salary, plus any bonuses owed. They got rid of it. So fiscally, it was a responsible move.
Yeah, well, like Jimmy said, we got to pass out some of these things. So
Ray McDonald, I don't know if you're innocent or guilty, but just for being in a situation. You should be ashamed of yourself. The way you carry yourself. Yo, for the dude in Memphis who stole the LeBrons, this is not because you stole them. This is because you got caught. You should be ashamed of yourself. The way you carry yourself. And Robert Griffin III, this is for the struggle braids that you won't take out of your head. You should be ashamed of yourself. The way you carry yourself. All right, and the biggest JoJo of them all today, the biggest JoJo of them all, Darren Sharper. You know, we talked about this back when he first got charged with multiple charges of. He has now been indicted. The grand jury indicted Darren Sharper, you know, former safety, former NFL safety for the New Orleans Saints. 2 counts of aggravated rape stemming from accusations that he sexually assaulted 2 drug-impaired women whom he supposedly drug-impaired. This was at his apartment back in September 2013. So Darren Sharper, you know, if he's found guilty in this indictment, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. And like Jimmy said, he's going to get roofed. He's not in the league anymore, but you know, it's probably going to affect the league in some way anyway. What's wrong with him?
Darren Sharper was using the Jello pudding pop method, and it's definitely coming back to haunt him. My problem with this is if you read the actual article, it's 3 individuals. It's him and 3 other individuals, and 2 of those individuals have also been indicted on kidnapping charges and human trafficking charges. So it was even worse. It's deeper than just, you know, I'm trying to meet Cliff Buxtable these kids. Like, they were literally bringing in human slaves that were going to be used as jism buckets, and he's taking it like, Darren, I don't even know what you were doing. Like you had a promising career ahead of you. You're a bit of a noodle, but you're a noodle in the way that you're charismatic. Like, people liked you in front of the camera. Like, you really have just flushed your entire family's name, your reputation, and everything else down the toilet, because you're probably not built financially to stand up under the heat of these lawyer charges, these attorney bills. Man.
B. Austin is referring to one of Sharper's friends, Brandon Licciardi, 29-year-old dude. He's a friend of Sharper's, and he was indicted on a charge of aggravated rape and 3 counts of human trafficking for the purposes of providing sexual conduct, and 1 count of battery. So he's trafficking, he's raping women, he's beating people up. Like, these dudes. Jimmy, what do you think about this, man?
Yo, I had a whole thing set, but I'm trying not to laugh at B. Austin, man. He said jism buckets. Like, come on, cuz. But I agree with B. Austin. Like, this dude did have a promising career, like, you know, in terms of after his football career, and he threw it all away. And this is one of them things, man. These dudes are not protecting the shield, because most ex-players still consider themselves, or not even consider themselves, they are a representation of the league. And we just talked about. Yes, they are. You know, we just talked about how the league is just being embarrassed, and it just gets worse and worse. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, the NFL just got over the whole concussion thing. You know, they got their way out of that, and now, like, these dudes are just committing, like, random crimes. It's just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. My man was out here taking the cookie.
Yeah, so you get one of these. it's crazy, man. Like,
Oh,
cats.
real quick. We got it reported in our chat room by that TC. Yeah, it's all over everywhere now that
I was about to say that.
Boston Celtics have agreed in principle to a trade that will see point guard Rajon Rondo move to Dallas. The Mavericks will reportedly send 3 reserves: center Brandon Wright, swingman Jay Crowder, and point guard Jameer Nelson. A 2015 first-round draft pick and a future second-round pick to Boston. The Celtics will also package rookie power forward Dwight Powell. And that's the deal. So we got Rondo and with the Mavericks.
The Mavericks just climb up the ladder of contenders right now. That's a big deal for the Mavericks. And we'll talk about that a little bit once we get into our basketball segment. So before we do that, Jim, let everybody know who's having a birthday today.
Absolutely. It's time for these birthday shout-outs, and they're brought to you by Digital Extreme Technologies. Do you or your business need a custom website? Well, for dynamic, professional, and most of all, affordable custom website solutions, you need Digital Extreme Technologies. No need to break the bank for an effective online presence, top-quality, results-driven websites at incredibly affordable prices. Financing options are available. Visit digitalextremetech.com or call 267-205-4203. And if you want to get hooked up, make sure you let them know you heard. Listening to the War Room, brought to you by War Room Sports. Yay! Absolutely. Now, these birthdays this week. First, we have Peter Boulware turning 40. You guys remember Peter Boulware?
He was a part of that Ravens defense that shut the whole league down en route to a Super Bowl.
Lucius Harris turns 44 years young.
Yo, we just wanted to say Lucius. Yo, the dude name is Lucius.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
And his game looked like his name was Lucius.
Yeah, let's name
his game was.
Yo, they used to call boy Lucius Harris, Paul. Anyway,
yo, but what does your baby have to look like for you to say, yeah, he looked like a Lucius? Let's call him Lucius.
Nowhere. Arguably the greatest special teams player in the history of football, Don Beebe, turns 50.
Yo, you went way out on the limb there.
Don Beebe was that great.
Arguably, man. Now,
I think people always mix up him with the other dude,
Steve Tasker.
Tasker?
Yeah, with the big head
with the kazoo. With the kazoo.
No, Steve Tasker. So Don Beebe was amazing on special teams too, but I still only remember him for catching that pass and literally using his head like a pogo stick. He bounced on his head.
He bounced off the Don Beebe probably dead. This should have been an RIP shout out.
Also, another birthday shout out to Michael Jordan's Road Dogs. They dress alike and they hang out and and do their thing with the pink women. So
young lady
Charles Oakley, turns 51. And then rest in peace.
Some of the pictures. Go ahead.
Rest in peace. Shout out to the legend Ty Cobb. You guys, if you guys study your baseball history, first of all, you need to study all your history, but if you study your baseball history, you know that Ty Cobb is a legend. So rest in peace to Ty Cobb.
Yo, he definitely is.
Yo, boy, Don Beebe.
My neck, my back, my neck and my back. Oh.
Yo, some of them pictures with Michael Jordan, some of those atrocious pictures with Michael Jordan and Charles Oakley look like my man Darren Sharper was right there with him.
Yeah.
No comment.
None at all. Just move it on along. All right, so salute to all of these homies on their birthday.
Yay!
Let me let y'all know real quick how you guys can get in touch with us when we are not on the air and when we are on the air. But y'all know the drill. If you listen every week, you know that you can check out our website at warroomsports.com while you're there. Make sure you sign up for the War Report. That's our newsletter. Click on the Contact Us tab to send a message about the company, the show, to inquire about sponsorship, advertising, and any other business you might have with War Room Sports. For general email us, info@warroomsports.com while you're browsing the site.
look around, click on the memorabilia tab, buy some War Room Sports merchandise, click the blog tab to read our latest sports articles in the All's Fair in Sports and More blog, then click the respective icons and tabs to like our Facebook page where we talk sports 24/7. To follow us on Twitter, subscribe to our iTunes podcast, to watch our videos at warroomsportstv.com, to listen to our network at wrspn.com, and to download our free War Room Sports mobile app to get everything I just mentioned right there on the go in your pocket. Join the JW Philly Realty chat room right now during the show at blogtalkradio.com/the War Room. To enter the chat room, just sign up for a free profile on Blog Talk Radio. If you don't want to create an account, you can sign in through your Facebook and Twitter accounts, and while you're at it, follow to get updates and reminders about the show. We'll be taking questions and reading posts from Facebook, Twitter, and the chat room during the show. To call in and speak with us, dial the Digital Extreme Technologies hotline. That number is 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. If you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. So if you do want to talk, you can basically start to call in, get in the queue right about now. We're going to talk to Fred Perdue of collegefootballextra.com, and right after we talk some college football with him, we'll start taking your calls. So get in that queue. 323-410-0012.
Hi, Peter King with the MMQB here, and you're listening to The War Room at the War Room Sports Podcast Network.
Yo, man, I'm looking at this Dallas squad. They don't have a nice squad right now. I know we're going to get into this later, but
they turn themselves into contenders, man.
I was sitting there thinking about it as you were talking. I'm like, damn, Dallas, they are contenders. Yo.
Yo, man, you trotting out Rondo, Dirk, the ball from the military backcourt. What is it? The Call of Duty? They used to be in the Call of Duty backcourt. Monte. You got Parsons,
Tyson Chandler.
Yeah.
Yo, but think about this though. Rondo's
instead of grabbing a rebound, Mr. Tap Out.
Yo, Rondo is the perfect point guard for that lineup.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Oh man, that's dope, man. Yo, free Bobby Schmurder or don't.
Or don't.
No, I'm good.
All right, so as usual, Fred Perdue segment is a part of Hot Topic. So before we get into that, Jimmy, let everybody know who Hot Topic and Fred Perdue, what to the people by.
Absolutely. Listen, if your schedule is too hectic to read as much as you want, try audiobooks. Kick back and let someone else do the reading for you. Visit audibletrial.com/warroomsports. Get you a free audiobook. If you've never tried audiobooks, you got to try it. It's to the point now where we're so busy as a society that a lot of people just gave up on reading and don't read. But while you're in a car, while you're in a gym, while you're out, with Darren Sharper looking for some, Vicks, you can just listen to some audiobooks, man. It's to the point now where they have, they're starting to get like the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, and a lot of the best newspapers on Audible, so you can even listen to your news. How lazy are we? But anyway, audibletrial.com/warroomsports, and you can just try it out for free.
All right. So on the line with us, as he is every week during the college football season, from collegefootballextra.com, we got Fred Perdue. What's going on, Fred?
How y'all guys doing?
Yo, we good, man. We good. Any day we can just sit here and talk about sports, it's a good day. So let's get right into it. You got a few games of the week going on, and we want to start off with that Rutgers versus UNC.
Rutgers hasn't been the picture of perfection, but they haven't been awful either. North Carolina, after having 120 points dropped on them in 2 weeks total, they came around slightly. They're still not great, but Larry Fedora has kind of turned his team around a little bit. I really think North Carolina might put a pretty good beating on this Rutgers team that took a hike to the Big Ten just to be everyone's whipping dog, and they might be the ACC's whipping dog too. Give me the Tar Heels.
All right, and I forgot to mention to the people out there that these are bowl games. These are the bowl games. Remember a few years ago, fellas, when we read off that list of like 99 bowl games that people never heard of? This is the Quick Lane Bowl. Rutgers
versus North Carolina. So Fred is giving you his pick on the Quick Lane Bowl. We're going to move on to the Heart of Dallas Bowl, which will be played in the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas. This is the Illinois Fighting Illini versus the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs. Again, this is the Heart of Dallas Bowl, played in the Cotton Bowl. Who you got in this one, Fred?
I really like this Louisiana Tech team. Skip Holtz, the old USF Bulls coach, really, and also son of Lou Holtz, the old Notre Dame national champion. The ones I really like this team. They were left for dead last year, but this year they showed some resurgence. And I know USF Bull fans are a bit salty, especially after how he left USF in the wake of just being terrible. USF is just awful now. They've gone from 3 different offenses, and now he's gone and been successful in his first year after they say good riddance. LTU is gonna put a good whipping on this Illini team that I still am scratching my head why Tim Beckman is still there.
All right, well, let's move on to the Pinstripe Bowl. And I swear, when I first saw the Pinstripe Bowl, I had plenty of jokes. I was going to say the Pinstripe Bowl sponsored by the New York Yankees, but the Pinstripe Bowl is being played at Yankee Stadium. So it really does have something to do with the New York Yankees.
Yo,
Boston
come
College
on, wait.
versus B. Austin's beloved Penn State Nittany Lions in the Pinstripe Bowl. Who you got?
Yo, wait, hold on. What in the name of everybody gets a participation trophy is going on here?
Yo, you're saying that in the next 10 years there will be a War Room Sports Bowl. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. We're going to make that happen since everybody can get a bowl. It's all about the dollars and cents. So who you got in this one, Fred?
Oh, man, I really have to say Penn State with quarterback Christian Hackenberg, who may after this year, going into next year, he's going to be that guy you're talking about as a top 25 pick in the draft. He's going to take over this game. I do like what I've seen from Frank Adazio and those the DC Eagles, who they just extended him, actually. He's done a pretty good job with Tyler Murphy, the former Florida Gator. But Penn State, I just think they've been so resilient this year, knocking off a couple big-time teams and hanging around with some others. Give me Penn State to finally, they finally got their bowl game back after being wrongly executed a couple of years ago. Christian Hackenberg and those guys have kind of stayed afloat. If they ever get their numbers back, they won't ever.
Is this really a bowl game though? Did they really get a bowl game back?
Yo, I'm gonna be honest. Rest in peace to my man Joe Paterno. You're going too soon. Free Joe Paterno's legacy. Christian Hackenberg is a grandson of Brett Favre because he would throw the ball no matter what the coverage and no matter who is there.
Yeah, definitely.
When you got a quarterback like Christian Hackenberg. But let's move to the last bowl of Fred's games of the week. This is the Holiday Bowl, which will be played in Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego. The USC Trojans will be hosting the Nebraska Cornhuskers in the Holiday Bowl. Who you got in this one?
I really, really like the progress USC is making under Steve Sarkisian. It's a shame that guys like Nelson Aguilar won't be around for a couple more years to see what they can really do. But this is going to be a good showing. We got a good quarterback going up again with some good weapons on the outside. Some guys on defense that can make some plays, Sua Cravens and the rest of those USC Trojans. Nebraska has 2 guys, actually 3. Tommy Armstrong Jr., Amir Abdullah, who is a better version of Duke Johnson, and you have Randy Gregory, a top 15 or so pick in the NFL draft coming up, who's long, athletic. He's I won't call him Jadeveon Clowney light, but he's in that same mold, 6'6", 250-ish, long arms, fast. He gave Miami a lot of problems. He's pretty good, but this USC team is too fast.
Doesn't really work that hard, and he gets injured.
Yes, I know. Shots fired. But no, USC is going to win this game. I think the weapons on the outside and the speed will take over in the second half, and Cody Kessler is a pretty good quarterback.
All right, so let everybody know before we get you out of here where they can find you on the internet, where they can find you on Twitter, especially when they want to start tweeting with you when the real bowls start coming on.
Most definitely. You guys can catch me on Twitter at FPurdueSports. You can also catch me on the website, collegefootballextra.com. You can also catch me on Field Vision, where I've given my thoughts on the NFL. When you have a quarterback like Jay Cutler, you can finish the rest. Or should I say when you have a quarterback like Jimmy Clausen?
I'm about to buy that domain name, Fred Purdue. We should make that your blog. We should call your blog when you have a quarterback like Jay Cutler.
Good one, Jimmy. Good one.
His NFL blog. All right, but yeah, like I said, you can catch him at F Purdue Sports on Twitter. He usually live tweets throughout college football Saturdays. So make sure y'all get with him. And like he said, you can also catch him on War Room Sports TV on Field Vision. The latest episode is up on the site, so go check that out, War Room Sports TV. All right, Fred, we will talk to you next week and in the coming weeks about, the bowl games that are going to be happening on and after the new year as well. So thanks for calling in. Thanks for your insight as usual. Appreciate it, bro.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me on, guys.
No doubt. All right, Fred Purdue, everybody. College.com. So before we move on with our hot topics, we got some calls on the line. Let's go out to Tobias. We didn't even screen it. We got your numbers now, Tobias. Roll Tide. What's going on, bro?
Roll Tide. Like I said, Ohio State still dead man walking. But they walking down that Green Mile. That's all I got to say. And I got a prediction for you guys. Jameis is going to win that game, I'm telling you. And I'll say this. I'm a Buccaneers fan, and I want us to keep tanking, just lose. And I want Jameis Winston over Marcus Mariota. Because now I know Jameis doesn't know that no means no, and he'll take the crab legs, after they put him to Old Bay seasoning.
Damn.
But Mariota has. When the last time Marcus Mariota's come back from behind? And you look at Jameis. He may not be the runner, but the guy has an arm. He can read a defense. This guy doesn't have to look at the sideline every other play while the coach hold up a billboard with some funny pictures. He can translate to the NFL.
He don't be wearing his contacts.
Yeah,
but
I know. He probably don't like to say no.
That's the point. I mean, and if anybody listens to this, how I feel about that whole thing. I think fans, especially, seriously overrate any quarterback that has wheels. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's good for that to be an extra in your game. Say if you're Aaron Rodgers, say if you're Andrew Luck, having that ability. But a lot of fans will choose the dude who can run better than he can throw, better than he can read, better than he can play fundamental quarterbacking. And I swear that is the most overrated thing in football to me. And I tire of talking to fans, and that's all they want is a quarterback that can run. But come on, man. Let's get over that.
They keep talking about, well, Marcus Mariota's a good kid. So that's kind of like me getting up with a blind date and Precious show up. But she's a very nice girl. Hey, I want to know how you play. I don't care if you're a jerk. If Jay Cutler could play, no one would care he's a jerk. Let's just be honest here. It's like Barry Bonds. No one cares if Barry Bonds is a jerk when he produced.
Yo, did you say a Precious show up though?
Yeah. But I gotta say this, man. Like we talked about last week. Now shut up. I hear all these people complaining because these football players and NBA players wearing these shirts and everything, talking about taking away from the game. You got coons like Barkley, who swear the police love him. But I live in Phoenix with him, and I tell you what, I bet he was shook when the cops pulled him over when he was drunk. Or that time he threw somebody out the window until he'll take a cop's ass. Yeah, but the problem is that there's a disconnect here. We're asking 50-year-old white guys what they think, and they never had to experience the stuff that many of these black people, young and old, have to go through every day. Or they don't have to experience that, hey, if their kid got shot by the police, hope it doesn't happen. They're not saying he's Super Saiyan 3 like Goku and stuff. All of a sudden, he's a threat. And that's some of the stuff that the coons like Barkley and some of these people don't get. We're not protesting the cops per se. We're not anti-cop. We're anti-system that allows this to go on. These guys with God complexes who couldn't win a school fight against a kid. That's the stuff that we are mad about. We're not mad at the cops. Hey, we all got friends, family, people we knew that was cops who are the good ones. But we also asking the ones who are the good ones, hey, separate yourself from this, because I tell you this, I was in the military, and you know, the military is a big sexual assault problem that's going on, and how they sweep it under the rug. And I was like, hey, I felt like years ago it should have gone to an outside agency because I saw the good old boy network worked, and you saw how big of a mess that was. But what happened is that when people don't look like us get affected by it, stuff changed. Like this white boy got shot, and I forgot what state it was. Oh yeah, now they got new policies on the cops then. But when it was one of us, he should have pulled his pants up when he got on a 3-piece suit. I ain't like his tie. You know, they try to find whatever reason to mess with us. And that's, you know, and I wish
that's what Andrew Hawkins was saying to the Cleveland police. That's great that you actually brought that up, because that was actually our next topic. So you basically segued us into our next topic. But like you said, we all have, you know, friends, family, police. I'll go another route on that, though, because, you know, some of mine are still some of the bad ones. Not with the brutality, but they extort you in a minute. But yeah, it's definitely.
And I'll say this before y'all go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Other people. Thanks for taking my call, by the way. And see,
always.
People don't realize that Tamir Rice kid was 12 years old, and Ohio is an open carry state. Like here in Arizona is an open carry state. So that means a white guy can walk around with a BB gun and a 12-year-old kid that got shot, and people are actually saying a 12-year-old kid was justified in being killed. Look what type of people there are out there that actually believe that. You know, that shows what kind of hatred people have.
That's the realest. That's the realest rap, and that's what really scares me and bothers me as a father of young children in the world that we're raising our kids in. It's like, okay, you have the perspective of being black, you have the perspective of being a black man in America, but on a human level, what type of message are we sending that it's okay to devalue human life? Because these are human beings, regardless of what they've done, whether he took cigarillos or not, whether he had a BB gun or not, whether he was obeying the commands of 7 or 8 police standing around him. What message are we sending that it's okay that human life be taken just because of these small incidents? Where's the spirit of justice behind the law, man? So you're making some great points, man. I just wanted to point that out, man. What type of people?
Thanks for your call as usual, Tobias, man. You know, we appreciate that.
You guys have a good one, man.
All right, you too. All right, but like we said, Tobias, you know, he called in and actually segued us into what we were about to talk about anyway. And, you know, the reason that this is in the news cycle again is because Browns receiver Andrew Hawkins wore a T-shirt prior to last Sunday's game that read, "Justice for Tamir Rice and John Crawford III." So the local Cleveland Police Patrolman Union demanded an apology from the Browns for Hawkins' actions. And Hawkins actually responded, but of course, you know, if you're man enough to make that protest on national TV like that, you damn sure not going to apologize because they're trying to strong arm you into doing so. So he spoke with the Cleveland Plain Dealer, the newspaper up there, and he basically said a call for justice shouldn't offend anybody, and I agree with that. A call for justice shouldn't warrant an apology. He said his heart broke for the families of the 2 kids killed in the shootings, and the events also made him worry for the safety of his 2-year-old son. And then he just wanted to definitely make clear that his shirt was not an attack on law enforcement. He said, "I utterly respect and appreciate every police officer that protects and serves all of us with honesty and integrity. It wasn't a stance against every police officer or every police department. It was a stance against wrong individuals doing the wrong thing. And I agree 100% wholeheartedly with his statement, with his protests. And, I'd like to tell Cleveland Police Department, just like the St. Louis Police Department, FOH with that, because he said it best. Like, standing up for justice shouldn't offend anybody. If you're not the police officers that are doing, some of these heinous acts, then you shouldn't be offended because somebody's protesting the lives, of some children who shouldn't have died. Like, where do they come off asking for apologies for this? I don't get it. Do y'all get it?
Arrogant. Yo,
it's extreme.
I get it. I get it because it's arrogance. It's a sense of entitlement, and it's also a sense that these guys set the tone and set the law, and they're above the laws that govern the land because they are the enforcement side of our country. It's the arrogance, it's the sense of entitlement, it's the misunderstanding of what justice truly is. It's a lot of things that can conspire to create these individuals that are on the police force that support these things. Because their justification will always be, well, yeah, it's a shame that someone had to die, but if he had only listened, if he had followed protocol that we said, if he had done, then he'd be a lot. Dude, there's no excuse. It's just it's out of pocket, man. It's out of control. I appreciate the stand that the young wide receiver took, and the brother really acquitted himself well in the press conference. They said that he flowed off the dome. He didn't have any notes, and he elocuted himself perfectly and articulated
no
a position in the
anything
stand
like that.
Yeah, he went in.
Yeah, he definitely did. I mean, he started ramming a little bit at the end, but at the end of the day, compared to how some of his peers talk, when they get in front of the camera, he did a great job. He definitely wins the Wanye Award for the week. So shout out to that man.
He did a blow. We gotta find a singer, man. I'm telling you. So we hook these
he
dudes
definitely
up.
gotta find another singer opposite JoJo, man. Somebody who ain't on that. You know what I mean?
I'm thinking about finding somebody in like Snoop and Dre's camp from like 1993.
So what though? It got to be something positive though. See, if JoJo was for all the bad stuff, we need a positive singer, man. You get the Kirk Franklin of the world or something.
It'd be positive for the dude getting it, but he definitely gets the opposite of a JoJo award. Adrian Peterson, I know you guys heard about this. Adrian Peterson was denied in his appeal of his indefinite suspension from the NFL, so he's definitely not going to play for the rest of this season. But because of this, he's mulling retirement. He's thinking about retiring, and it's not necessarily football related. Let me read some of his quotes. He says, "I've considered retiring from the NFL. I still made $8 million this year." A little humble brag. "I've thought about getting back into the real estate business in Texas that I'm already in. That's something I've been interested in, something I'm involved in. I've thought about getting into that. I've thought about going after the Olympics. You only live once. It might be time for me to pursue that as well. I love playing football, don't get me wrong, but this situation is deeper than that. For me, it's like, why should I continue to be a part of an organization or a business that handles players the way they do, making money off the field anyways? Why not continue to pursue that Olympic dream and pursue other dreams and hang up the cleats?" So he's saying that he seriously thought about this stuff real hard. He would definitely miss playing football and all that, but he just doesn't like the way he was handled in this situation. Do you guys, I got two questions for you. One, do you guys agree with him in the way that he was handled, making him basically react this way? And two, do you think he would ever go through with what he's saying right now?
Well, I think it's a bit of a... Oh, go ahead, Jimmy.
No, you got it, good brother.
I think it's a bit of a reaction, and understandably so. I don't think he's being a prima donna with it. I think that he's a little upset. We all know how fiercely competitive Adrian Peterson is, and so his idea in terms of what he wanted his career to amount to He wants to eclipse a gentleman that was nowhere near as talented as he is, but somehow ended up with the rushing title in Emmitt Smith. So he feels that, he had a legitimate shot to go after the overall rushing title, most yardage. And I think that with him losing this 1 year, because football is only 16 games in a season, that's a big chunk of the time and the number of games that it would have taken him to get there. And he's already quasi, I don't want to say fully injury prone, but he's subject to injury. I mean, it's a sport where you're very rarely ever truly healthy. So I think he looks at losing this season as really robbing him of the opportunity to truly etch his name in the all-time record book as the greatest of all time. I think that this, not playing this season hurts that. Now, it wouldn't hurt his career. It wouldn't hurt his productivity. It wouldn't stop him from ending with 14, 15, maybe even 16,000 yards rushing. So he could still be very productive, an all-pro, a Hall of Famer, definitely. But I think losing these games hinders him from his ultimate goal and what he wants to try and accomplish in football. The Olympic talk, to me, is just that talk for several reasons. I assume that he's discussing, when he says Olympics, he's talking about track and field and sprinting.
Yeah, 200 and the 400 is what he was.
I see his talent and his long range speed. Had he pursued that earlier in life, perhaps. Him and Chris Johnson, perhaps. But there's a big difference in being an Olympic level sprinter and just having that natural speed and ability that shows itself on a football field. So I don't think that at 29 or 30, he could take his body, change it, train, and get there to be at a point where he could medal in one of those events. And that, again, that's not to say that the talent wasn't once there.
What about qualify for one of those events?
Even qualify. That's a big statement for him to make, having been out of track and field for close to 10 years. That's a huge, huge statement for him to make. So, I don't think that's a realistic goal for him at this stage of his career and at this age. Not that 29 is old, not that 29 takes him away from competitive age in the Olympics, but it's the time and it's the wear and tear of football on his body. I just don't see how he would be able to get into track shape to be able to compete. Not in 2016. He would really probably be talking about competing in 2020, not 2016. That would be crazy.
Yo, B. Austin was talking for like 8 minutes on that question, so I'm trying to remember what else I could say about this. The fact of the matter is, he was in his feelings, man. So, if you're trying to get out of there and you got some seed money you want to invest, holler at AP at War Room Sports, Facebook.com/War Room Sports. But he's in his feelings, man. But he will be back playing football. I don't care what he says, because the fact of the matter is, you need to be some sick, twisted individual to want to play football in the first place. And football players are exactly that, football players. Some of them stay too long. So if he has anything left in the tank, he's coming back to play football, because you can't cut that off.
Yeah, it's difficult to walk away from that, from the game when you're at your peak, unless you're Barry Sanders. Like when he did it, everybody thought he was crazy. So, you're not going to sit here and think that it's just easy to do just because we have an example of somebody doing it. Yeah, Barry was a little off with his. So
Barry was off, and AP always came across, to me at least, as someone who loves the game of football. He plays with like such passion, and you could tell that he enjoys the game. So it's going to be difficult. It's easy to say now. The team stinks. You can't play. But when camp starts, people start reporting, and they get out there like, well, he ain't going to do it himself. Like, listen, man. If you want to spend some of that bread, holler at us. But we all know you're going to be back next year. Who are you fooling?
No doubt. So shout out to AP. We'll see you back on the field till you get out of your feelings. But if you're going to go through with it,
We support you on that too. Let's give our stat of the week before we move on. Talk a little b-ball, but before we do that, we have another call on the line we want to get to. But our stat of the week: junior college transfer Gary Payton Jr. Yes, the son of Gary Payton. He plays for Oregon State, his dad's alma mater. The other day in a game against Grambling State, which is really literally one of the worst basketball teams in the country, he had a triple-double, 10 points, 12 rebounds, and a career-high 10 assists in the game against Grambling. The crazy part about this, the reason why it's our stat of the week, is because Oregon State basketball, this is only their second triple-double of all time from any player in Oregon State history. And if you want to take a guess at who had the first one, of course, easy guess. It was Gary Payton. It was GP1, who was an All-American for the Beavers back in his day. On November 26, 1988, Gary Payton had Oregon State's only triple-double at the time when he tallied 20 points, 14 rebounds, and 11 assists in a win against Portland. So his was a little more impressive. It was a little more monstrous than his son's. And his son's triple-double, they helped him out as well because it was a blowout game. He was already out of the game. The coach realized that he needed 5 assists to become the second in history along with his father. So they saw the sentimental value in this, and they put him back in a blowout win. So it's a great stat, something they can talk about forever. But it was a tiny bit Bush League, but it's all good. It's something a father and son can talk about for the rest of their lives.
Yo, I'm more offended by
since GP2 ain't going to the league. So
I'm more offended by his tweet than anything you just said in terms of how Bush League it was him getting. I'm more offended by his tweet and his lack of the ability to sell.
Yo, Gary Payton said he was proud. He said he was proud of his son. I'm assuming he meant he was proud of him. He said he was proud of him. I'm proud of you, boy. I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of you.
I'm broad. I'm broad. I'm brother than Broadway.
Gary Payton said, "I'm proud of my son." So Gary Payton. I mean, we've seen him.
Well,
Gary got a little
Gary
Floyd
Payton
in
is
him.
known. He is known to speak slave, a dialect of English.
Yo, I think when Gary Payton had to read that tweet back, he probably was like,
Murray had a little lamb. Murray had a little lamb.
Come on, Gary.
Oh, man.
Let's get it straight. All right, so before we move on, talk some NFL. Let's get Rob from Cali, who's been waiting on the line for a little while. Thanks for holding, Rob. You're in the war room. What's going on, bro?
Ricardo.
I'm sorry, man. I'm just laughing at B. Austin said about Darren Sharper using Jello pudding pie. I'm sorry. That was
he said he used the Jello pudding pop method. That's messed up.
No, it's okay. It's okay, man. This week I had marshmallow yam, so I'm good. Shout out to Puerto Rico.
Wow.
Anyway.
No, you was getting any yam.
Oh, 50 Robbie kissing and telling. So what's on your mind, man? What you want to talk about this week?
Yo, man, okay, shout out to the Byers, a good dude. But Jameis Winston, of course he's going to make all the comebacks, man. He set up the comeback by giving the ball to the other team, man. But in this game, it's going to be shaving points. It's going to be high scoring. I think it's going to come down to, I think, a field goal to the last game at the end. But Florida State's going to come to play. And about that dude for the Browns, I think it was bold for what he said. He said what he believed in. And, I mean, it's hard to change the system it's hard to talk about change the system that was never for you in the first place. I mean, those cops, what they said, like stuff like that, stuff like what Mark Cuban said, that's another chump. I kind of laugh at because, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but that's how it should be. It should be out in the open. You know what I'm saying? some people are consciously racist, some people are unconsciously racist. So,
Yo, did y'all hear about the cop out in San Jose who went to Twitter because he was talking about all the protesters that he saw in the Bay Area. So he went to Twitter.
He said, "Threaten me or my family, and I will use my God-given and law-appointed right and duty to kill you. Hashtag Cops Lives Matter." Then he said, "By the way, if anyone feels they can't breathe or their lives matter, I'll be at the movies tonight, off duty, carrying my gun." Yo, if that's not entitlement in its highest form, and if people can't understand, why so many people are upset when you hear people talk this, because some people obviously don't care. Some people want everybody to stop crying this and stop crying that. But then when you have people out here like this, these are the type of topics that they ignore. There are actually cops out here who think like this. And it's disgusting, man. It's disgusting.
I mean, people forget, man, that before the Black Panthers carried around guns, they carried around penal code books. So if they got pulled over by a cop, they'd be like, "Why you pulling me over? You can't pull me over for this, that, and the third."
I know my rights.
I know my rights. They were educated, and they carried around the guns just to protect themselves from the police, who are what? The oppressors.
Pigs.
All right, so Rob.
Yeah, you might see me all blue, all red, every day. I'm 50 Tyson.
So before we get you out of here, you think your Eagles, they're gonna jump back into the playoff mix, or did they blow it against the Cowboys the other day?
I've never been, man. It's almost like the 2008 season, almost like that. Except back then, I would argue, from the skill positions, we had a better team. Yeah, I'll say that. We had a better team back then than we do now because, we had in team is just, I don't know, the Chip Kelly. I'm looking forward towards the future. In the offseason, like I already told you what I want. I want Rex Ryan as defensive coordinator. You need to rekindle your whole defensive backs because other than Michael Jenkins, every one of them is trash. And
Michael Jenkins. Who's Michael Jenkins? Oh,
Jenkins. Oh, my fault. The safety, and oh wow. And I guess Brandon Graham is coming to his own. Give Marcus Smith a chance to develop. I said, and I've been the biggest criticism of Foles. What I was trying to say on there was, even though I don't really have the confidence in Foles, I really think he should deserve a fair shot to compete and to excel as a quarterback.
Well, wow.
Y'all always hard on black quarterbacks anyway, so
That's all B. Austin and I have been saying the whole season. But every time we say that, we're quote unquote swallowing his kids or whatever you said we were doing. We said the exact same thing you just said all season. But for us, we gotta think he's this.
What do you say about black quarterbacks, Rob?
I say y'all always going hard on black quarterbacks,
That's the biggest pile of BS that I've ever heard. We go hard on quarterbacks that we think are overrated. You don't say that when we're dogging Jay Cutler 25 times a show because he's not black. But you notice when the person is black, and now we're hard on black quarterbacks. No, we're hard on quarterbacks.
Come on.
Period.
Cam Newton.
We're hard on bums.
We kill Cutler all the time.
Kaepernick is a bum.
I think cats like, what's the dude who used to play for the Panthers that he's probably my biggest mark of all time. Jake, the homie. Come on, we slam these type of dudes all the time, but nobody notices until we're telling the truth about a black quarterback.
Well, let me Rob, here, listen to this though. This is Jimmy, right? The two quarterbacks that I come down on, Pauls, the most, and you can listen to any show, and I disrespect them ungodly, and I will continue to do so until my dying day, is Jay Cutler,
Brett
Favre, old purple hands. Like I don't even understand that whole thing you say about coming down hard on black quarterbacks. Fact of the matter is, I come down hard on quarterbacks, period. There aren't too many good quarterbacks, white or black, in the league. When you look at the quarterback position historically, there's only been a handful of good quarterbacks at any given time in the entire league. So my thing is, I'm not, and the thing is, I'm more pro-black than probably anybody, on this earth. But at the same time, I'm not going to jump on it and ride a bandwagon because you're black. If you can't play the game, you can't play. You can't play. To me, Warren Moon is one of the top 5 that are alive, but he has the talent to back it up. These dudes you talking about, these big Nabs and these Cam, they ain't no Warren Moon.
I'll say it, Jimmy. Black people don't notice anything negative we say unless it's about black people. So that's the MO that we're gonna get because we're telling the truth.
I poop on every quarterback. To me, it's like 3 or 4 good quarterbacks in the whole league.
But I will what I will allude to, I think, because Bielsa said something deep a long time ago. He said that the quarterback position is not being properly taught. He goes back from high school to college and to the NFL. I do agree with that because I see it, and I see it now. I see other than Russell Wilson, I see a less black quarterback or quarterbacks in general, mostly black quarterbacks running than they did.
I don't think Russell Wilson all that good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What?
Not all that good. Right, because everybody's put it this way, because everybody's going to point to Russell Wilson winning a Super Bowl, but that was one of those situations. We dog Trent Dilfer, don't we? We dog Trent Dilfer. Oh, he got carried to the Super Bowl by defense, but nobody cares about us saying that.
Yeah, please told Jamal Lewis.
Okay, this dude had beast mode.
And he had
beast mode and a defense. He had beast mode in a defense that shut down Peyton Manning. Like, come on, let's not cry for Russell Wilson. Let's not cry for. I'm not saying he's garbage. Don't get me wrong. I didn't say he was bad. I just said I don't think he's all that good. His name is now in the pantheon of Super Bowl winning quarterbacks, and I don't think he's that good. I didn't say he wasn't good.
My take on Russell is a little different. Here's my take on Russell, Rob. My take on Russell is when it's all said and done, I think he'll be remembered more like Ben Roethlisberger in the sense that the first championship he got was primarily due to the defense and running game. But I think as time goes on, they probably won't win that many bowls, but I think he's going to start putting up crazy numbers just because of the era that he plays in. So when you look at his body of work, it's going to look like, to someone who didn't watch him play, it's going to be like, damn, he got these numbers, plus he's a Super Bowl championship quarterback. So I look along those lines of how he'll go down historically. But with that being said, he's still young and he still has the ability to improve. And the one thing I can say from watching him play, he looks like he's trying to improve when you watch guys like, Cam and Kaepernick. And the fact of the matter is, I'm not trying to compare black quarterbacks to black quarterbacks, but we're talking about, a certain crop of quarterbacks. And most of the quarterbacks
Fitzpatrick is a bum. He can run.
You know what I mean? Like, watching Cam Newton play, and I watch every game, is like he doesn't look like he's improving the way he should be. And that's just talking about, like, just his mechanics.
Rob, if you're going to end up kicking it with the homie, man, you got to step your intellectual and cerebral understanding of the game up, man. And I don't say that as disrespecting you, but look, man, the position of quarterback is more akin to a grand chess champion than it is to just a normal athlete. The playbooks and the concepts that you have to master and understand at the quarterback position to make it into that upper echelon of very good. I'm not talking about elite. I'm not talking about the elite 4 guys. I'm talking about your Tony Romos, your Phillip Rivers, those type of guys. To make it to very good, you have to understand and command the game at a cerebral level. It's not about just making plays or running around and extending plays and being sensational. All that stuff is cool. Aaron Rodgers has that. And we forget that Aaron Rodgers is a 4.5, 4.6 40 runner. Why? Because he's busy making plays with his mind and his accuracy. You forget about the athleticism. And a lot of these dudes that come into the league, unfortunately, aren't taught that way from high school. They're taught that they should utilize their athleticism. Russell Wilson makes decent decisions. I don't know whether that's based on IQ.
That's because high school and college coaches are trying to win. They're not trying to develop your future. They're trying to win. So run.
That's true. They got kids that need to
run.
Anyway, man, yo, with that
run.
Because I do agree with the Kaepernick. I don't think he's developing that much as he should. Cam to me is like an athletic Roethlisberger. That's just to me. I think he can.
No, but the thing is, I'm not giving up on these guys. I just think that I'm talking about in terms of the improvement you should see.
Jimmy, why not?
No, because here's my thing. Because there's so many variables in terms of a quarterback being good. I mean, a lot of it's coaching, and a lot of it's not even head coach. It's about who's your quarterback's coach or your offensive coordinator. A lot of it's play calling. So there's so many things. But I see the tools there, but I just don't see the development. And so we'll see. Because
Blaine Gabbert's a bum.
Yeah, Rob, we appreciate you. You know we appreciate your support. You know we appreciate your support. Stay listening, man.
All right, man.
All right, homie.
I think already. Yeah, come on, man. Because that's not the first time I heard that. That kind of pissed me off. It just seems like people don't pay attention until we're talking about black quarterback.
It ain't just him.
Like your ears don't even perk up until we're talking about a black quarterback.
Yeah,
but you know what, though?
I
slam whoever.
Yeah. No. It's definitely both ways. I was just about to say that, Jimmy. It's both ways because to a lot of our other, listeners and supporters and even our Caucasian segment of our audience, they think that we're black protectionists. Like all we do is stand up for black athletes. All you do is talk about race. All you do. So I think we're doing it right because everybody hates us. Everybody hates us. And we're cool.
So we get hate from both sides, so we can't win.
Everybody's slandering us.
That means we are winning. We are winning. Don't nobody like us. Cool.
Yeah, I'm saying all y'all talk about is race. All y'all talk about is pro-black this and black that. Black folks be like, yo, y'all be killing y'all. Like, yo, I don't know what to do, man. I just try to be honest, man.
All right. Well, look, man, y'all can check out our website at warroomsports.com if you want to call in and speak to us about any of today's topics, including our hatred for black quarterbacks. You can dial the Digital Extreme Technologies hotline at 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. If you already listen from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. We're going to talk a little bit about the NFL real quick. And the NFL Wrap is brought to you by Stitcher Smart Radio. You can now hear our show, The War Room, on Stitcher Smart Radio. Actually, you could hear our show for a few years now on Stitcher Smart Radio. But Stitcher allows you to listen to your favorite shows directly from your computer, your phone, iPhone, Android, BlackBerry, or Palm phone if you're still rocking with that. The latest episode is always available for you. No syncing needed. No memory or storage wasted. Downloading is easy. Just click on the Stitcher logo on our website, warroomsports.com, or download it to your mobile phone directly from our webpage. Before you do, enter the promo code The War Room for a chance to win a large cash prize. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio. So let's talk a little bit about this football life. All right. NFL Week 15 saw, some ups and downs in the world of football. The debut of Johnny Football didn't go so well. The NFC East playoff race took a big turn, and B. Austin and I are Eagles fans, and we didn't really like the turn that it took. But what are you guys' thoughts? B. Austin, what was your thought on Johnny Manziel and his debut in the NFL? Let me give you his numbers real quick. He was 10 of 18 for 80 yards and 2 interceptions against the Bengals. They got blown out. Johnny looked lost. He was doing his sandlot thing, throwing off 1 foot sideways into a crowd, jumping backward and throwing picks. He just didn't look ready. And because of who he is and the celebrity that he has, like, he's never going to be able to win with defenders in the league because every time they make a play, everybody's doing the money sign, and that's just going to be that unless he becomes Tom Brady or somebody. He's going to see that every game. What are your thoughts on this performance?
This was probably the absolute best thing that could have ever happened to Johnny Football, because we're going to separate the wheat from the chaff. If he has what people believe that he has, which is an ability to be a good, I won't say great, I won't say elite, but a good NFL starting quarterback, it's going to start with that loss. Because when he came to the podium, he came to meet the press after the game, for the first time ever, we saw a humble Johnny Football. Johnny said, yo, I didn't know what was going on out there. I didn't realize the speed of the game was this fast. I didn't realize that these dudes ran like this. Because one of the things to realize about Johnny is more quick than he is fast. He's a very good athlete. But at the NFL level, you know, and I'm speaking to our listeners and fans of the game, what people don't realize is everyone that starts in the National Football League, whether you know their name or not, is a superior, different type of human being from another planet. And Johnny, when you come in to the NFL from dominating the NCAA, you learn and realize that quickly. The guys like an Andrew Luck or even an Aaron Rodgers who try and develop their game from a cerebral standpoint and understand the things like accuracy, route combinations, reading defense, and take that as their foundation, they grow a little bit faster than the guys that were dependent on their athleticism and didn't pick up the cerebral parts of the game. Johnny's never had to really read a defense. Johnny's used to winging it. That stuff is not going to work against these real, live, grown-ass gorillas that he plays against every Sunday. So he'll either pick it up, get into his playbook, learn the nuances of the game, and develop, or he'll just be another black quarterback.
That's going to be the theme for the rest of the show. Listen, look, we don't generally make the knee-jerk reaction, so we're going to give Johnny Manziel a chance. We're going to give him, you know, a good chance. But if Johnny Manziel continues to have 10 for 18 for 80 yards and 2 interception performances, we will be body slamming Johnny Manziel like we do every other quarterback who deserves to
every other black quarterback.
So y'all ain't gonna let that go. Jim, what are your thoughts on Johnny's performance or lack thereof?
I got one quick thing to say, yo. It was his first start. That's all I gotta say.
Exactly. But you remember when you asked us last week, like how it was gonna go, I told you. All I had to say was Cleveland will lose, yeah. That's all I had to say. It's not like this is anything that I didn't expect, and a lot of it had a lot to do with what B. Austin just said. When you have guys that come in like Johnny Manziel, are used to dominating the game in a certain type of way, your introduction into the NFL is not going to be pretty. So he has a lot of learning to do. I don't know whether he can or he can't, but we're going to give him his chance. And then if he blows his chance, he's going to get body slammed, just like the rest of them. All right, so that's Johnny. Let's go from him to let's talk a little bit about the whole NFC East right now. The Eagles were in the driver's seat up until this week when they played the Cowboys. The Cowboys avenged their loss from Thanksgiving Day. They're looking pretty consistent to me again, but what is that? You guys think there's any chance that the Eagles can get back into the driver's seat, because they would need to win out, and they play Washington and New York, and the Cowboys would have to lose at least one of the games. And they play Indianapolis and Washington. Now, a lot of people are thinking, well, Indianapolis will beat them. However, Indianapolis really doesn't have much to play for. They're pretty much, I mean, it can move with some, you know, some crazy circumstances. They're pretty much locked into the 3 seed. The Patriots and or the Broncos would have to lose out for Indianapolis to even think about moving up to a higher seed. I think if they win one game, they're locked in to the seed that they have. They don't have much to play for. Now, I talk to Eagles fans constantly. It's something I probably shouldn't do, but the Eagles fans are coming up with all these scenarios of what the Colts have to play for, and it's all based on what they want. You know what I'm saying? And it makes no sense. But do you guys think there's a chance? I mean, I think Indianapolis has a chance to beat Dallas anyway, but I don't think it has anything to do with them, you know, doing it because so pressed for seeding or anything like that. I just think, okay, it might just be too early for them to mail it in. I think they may end up resting a Reggie Wayne because the old man has to get ready for the playoffs. But, you know, I think they'll give it a go unless, you know, they have some injury scares or something. But do you guys think the Eagles blew it? Is all this a pipe dream for Eagles fans?
Jimmy, you wanna weigh in, brother? Because I got.
I'll be brief with it. I just want to say that it's like one of those things where the Cowboys, I'm just waiting for them to fail, and it's not that I'm a Cowboys hater. I don't hate the Cowboys. I do hate their fans, but it's just one of those things where because it consistently happens, you just wait for it and wait for it and wait for it. Now, they've been playing a lot better football this year than in previous years with them sticking to the running game and sticking to their strengths and taking pressure off of Tony Romo. But I'm just waiting for it. I could be naive, and they could be just a completely different team, but, I mean, they're still coached by the same guy. Jerry Jones still has, his control, so I'm still just waiting for it. I think here's the funny thing. I actually picked Indianapolis to beat them, but the more I think about it, I think the Cowboys will do something crazy like beat the snot out of Indianapolis and then lose to Washington and blow it that way, because that would be hilarious.
No, they got the Giants up in
Washington.
I'm sorry, not the Giants. They got Washington.
Washington.
Washington. Yeah, all right. I was right. Yeah, Washington. I know it's a division.
Indianapolis and Washington. Yeah, that would be crazy. But I think they're playing really consistent football. Real quick, Bielsa, because I was talking to the maestro of the playbook this morning. Shout out to Brandon Pemberton, Sports Trap Radio. You can listen to him and Anthony Green on the War Room Sports Podcast Network, WRSPN.com. I was talking to the maestro of the playbook this morning, and we were talking about the All-22 from this particular game. And I was, like I always do, just shouting out how, when Romo makes mistakes, every fan in America wants to say negative stuff about him. But when he has a masterful performance, it's just quiet. And when I say masterful, I mean that in a literal way, because if you go back and you look at the Eagles' game plan, if you listen to what the Eagles' defensive coordinator is saying, and then you watch how Tony Romo attacked them on certain plays, especially those man-up plays against Dez, you would know that it's like what B. Austin says, like you had to be a chess player to do what he did, because the Eagles actually did start the game out doubling Dez Bryant. When he read those doubles, he got Witten involved, who wasn't involved Thanksgiving Day. Once Witten started hurting them too much, they started rolling the doubles toward Witten, manning up on Dez Bryant. They started going to Dez Bryant. So it sounds simple, but these are the type of reads that average to mediocre quarterbacks don't make. They're not going to know where your weakness is on any given play. They're not going to know what scheme you're running at them. They're not going to know, who's being doubled and who's not, and how the game is going. So I got to give props when props is due. And dude did a masterful job of exploiting every weakness the Eagles had on any given play that a weakness was on display. So I got to give him props. I know Eagles fans are cringing right now, but I don't care about y'all. I hate y'all.
Before I'm an Eagles fan, and I was born an Eagles fan, I am an aficionado and a connoisseur of the game of football and the game of basketball. Let me tell y'all something, man. The Cowboys scare me for all the reasons that you've already laid out, gentlemen. The basis of their success is balance. They win offensively because of DeMarco Murray and giving him the ball 25 times a game. They try and keep Tony Romo's passing to around the same, 25 to 30 passing attempts. When you have that type of balance and you have the ability to control the clock, because their defense isn't good. That defense is still basically the same defense that was historically bad 2 seasons ago. But the balance that they show on offense, I don't see them. I give Indianapolis a fair chance at winning that game. They have the ability, but with them, they're very inconsistent. They don't have much to play for, and they're also very inconsistent. Sometimes it kind of reminds you of us, of the Eagles. Sometimes they show up and they look like world beaters because of Andrew Luck. But Andrew Luck is asked to do so much that he has to be perfect almost for them to look like world beaters. The minute that he has a slip, there's nobody else on that team carrying the type of load that he carries. So they're not that talented of a team. and they don't have a running game. I give them a fair chance. I mean, again, Dallas's defense is suspect, but offensively, they look very, very, very scary. And when you ask Tony Romo to mix in playmaking with game management, and he's not just dropping back 45, 50 times, he's a hell of a dude to try and beat, man. The Eagles, on paper, we should win out. On paper. Facing the opponents that we have Washington. Yeah, exactly. I was going to get to that. We should win out. I don't have us beating 2 division opponents to win out just because it's divisional games. They have pride. They have pride to play for.
And they have Odell Beckham against Bradley
Fletcher. We're not a good football team. We are an explosive football team. We are a sensational football team. We put up a lot of points, but we are not good. And that's the problem that I have, like, with the fans, because I don't think we understand that. We're not good. The weaknesses we have are glaring. And against other good teams, they get exploited. Our corners are putrid. We have the worst starting corners in football. Not the NFL. In football. Bradley Fletcher should not, in football. Bradley Fletcher, there are kids in college that are better than Bradley Fletcher and Kerry Williams. I'm positive of it. They are absolutely terrible. And Malcolm Jenkins, he's a definite upgrade. He's an improvement. But they asked him to play too much singled-up coverage, basically banking on the fact that he started out as a corner. So, we can just throw him on the slot man because he has the athleticism. Nah, that's not the case. Nate Allen is still late, over the top, makes bad decisions in the angles that he takes.
Off easily, and Romo was looking him off like it was nobody's business.
Yeah, he gets killed. Our linebackers are overachieving, but they're not really good. They're just overachieving. They're balling their hearts out. But I'm afraid for them too, which leaves us only the D-line. That's our strongest point on defense is that D-line. And when they're not getting pressure, our corners are getting people's scrotums put on their helmet tops. That's it.
Yo, you mentioned the Eagles. You lost them break down their whole roster though.
I know. So this could end up, if they do win out. I mean, because right now the Cowboys control their own destiny. Cliche, but if they went out, they're in, and I pretty much think that there's going to be one team, unless somebody in another division just totally falls off the mat. There's going to be one team to make the playoffs from the NFC East, so it could be possible that the Eagles will be like the New England Patriots the year Tom Brady got hurt and sitting outside of the playoffs at 11-5. And for everybody who was riding the Sanchez wave prior to him actually getting in the game, holla at me now. But look, Jay Cutler has been benched. Jimmy Clausen will start for Chicago against Detroit. As we all know, Cutler struggles. He has struggled this season. Led the Bears to a 5-9 record so far. And Monday night's game against the Saints, he had 2 touchdowns, but he also had 3 more interceptions. He leads the league in interceptions with 18 and leads the league in turnovers with 24 altogether. He had a 55.8 passer rating that night and a QBR of 6.8. So I guess his coaches, his organization has seen enough, at least for this season. He is the highest paid offensive player in the league. He's making $22.5 million to lead his team to a 5-9 record and be a decent fantasy quarterback and a terrible NFL quarterback at the same time this season. What do you guys think? Is it just something you think that's happening now for this to send them a message, or are they going to put the wheels in motion to try to get rid of Jay Cutler in the offseason?
They're getting rid of Jay. And it's not even because he's that bad.
Yes, he is.
They've decided that they want to sever ties and go in a different direction. And they're actually, I think, by keeping him out of these last 2 games, they may be saving themselves about $10 million. So this is a fiscal decision that they're making based on the fact that the Jay Cutler era is over.
Yo, it's not fiscal. My man's quarterback rating was like 6.
Nah, but not for the season. Not for the season.
Ain't nothing fiscal about that, B. Ain't nothing fiscal about the fact that he got 24 interceptions.
$10 million. No, he doesn't have 24 interceptions. He has 18 interceptions.
24 turnover. No, I mean, and the Bears' problems in general, like he's not playing well. That's a given, and he's making $22.5 million. But the Bears' problems are widespread. Like their defense in the last 2 years have been, around. They've been among the league's worst defenses. Last year they were second in the league in scoring on offense, and now they're 19th. They haven't scored 30 points all season, and they have one of the most talented. I'm going to say the best because obviously it's not the best. They have one of the most talented, at least at skill positions. They have one of the most talented offenses in the league, and they haven't scored 30 points all season. So it was time for a change to be made. So
Jimmy, there's a young man that they have on defense that plays the safety position, and I would take you over Chris Conte.
Yeah, you can say all that. Cutler is terrible. Cutler's been terrible. I've been telling you Cutler's been terrible since college, and he will continue to be terrible. He's a piece of trash.
You're emotionally invested in him because he used to play for the Broncos and he stunk it up there.
I never wanted him to play for the Broncos.
I've literally never seen Chris Conte make a good play. Like I'm not even exaggerating. I'm not trying to make that.
I hear what you're saying, but
I've never seen him do anything right.
With Jay Cutler's and Jay Cutler's interceptions at times are like it's not just that he throws picks. He throws the worst picks in the league. Like he throws the ball directly to the other team. But that has nothing to do with that.
Chris Conte, it does. Listen. If your defense is giving up that many points, you force Jay Cutler to have to throw. You can't hand the ball off to Matt Forte. You can't hand the ball off to Matt Forte if you're already down 14 because Chris Conte can't tackle, can't cover, can't pick the ball off. Play the ball.
You're blaming the whole defense on Chris Conte.
It's all Chris Conte's fault. Watch him play. He's Mike Lowe.
He's a Jay Cutler of the
defense bad. He's Jay Cutler of the D.
Jay Cutler was throwing 30 picks before Chris Conte was on the Bears. Jay Cutler this isn't new though. This is my thing.
He's been there 2 years. He's been there 2 years, man. Chris Conte's been messing up for 2 seasons.
Jay Cutler's been messing up his entire NFL career. My thing is this though. Like Chris Conte has been with the Bears since 2011?
2011.
2011. All right. So my thing is Jay Cutler. But by 2011, Jay Cutler was already one of the top 10 turnover machines in the history of the league.
You answering that like the most serious, man. That was tongue in cheek, man. There's no way the whole defense is Chris Conte's fault, but the defense does stink.
I just gotta reinforce my hatred of Jay Cutler because I'm consistent with that.
All right. Well, Jay, his future in Chicago is shady at this point. Let me get you guys picks because we got some basketball we need to get into. So let me get you guys picks for the game of the week. A lot of games of the week. A lot of playoff implications in some of these games. So let's start with the Ravens at the Texans. B. Austin, who you got? Ravens, Texans.
Give me the Ravens.
All right. I'm taking the Ravens as well. Jimmy, who you got in this one?
I was thinking about taking the Texans strictly to pick all completely different picks that I did on Field Vision. That way I can always point to either one or the other and say I'm right. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick with my original picks and take the Ravens.
All right, Falcons at Saints. I'm going with the Saints because even though they play in that putrid division and they're putrid right now, the Saints are still going to live up to my Super Bowl pick this year, and they're going to get there and lose to the Broncos. So I got to go with the Saints. They're going to win this division, and then they're going to get in the playoffs and turn on the switch that I know that they have. I'm talking really sarcastically right now, but Saints all the way to the bowl. B. Austin, who you got, Falcons or Saints?
Falcons. Roddy White or my man Julio is going to go for another 300-yard game.
Julio Jones.
Julio. I call him Julio.
Jimmy, who you got?
I got the Falcons. I'm sticking to the Falcons.
Chiefs at Steelers, Jimmy. Chiefs at Steelers, Jimmy.
Chiefs.
Steelers. Else?
Tie. It's like, no, Steelers.
Colts at Cowboys. B. Austin, who you got?
I'm feeling lucky, man. So let me go with the Colts.
I got the Cowboys finally winning one at home. I hope they don't. I'm rooting for my Colts. Yes, I said my Colts. But I got the Cowboys winning one at home, and hopefully not, but sticking a fork into my Philadelphia Eagles. Seahawks. Oh, Jimmy, did you pick yours? Who you got?
Oh yeah, I told you I'm taking the Colts.
The Colts. All right. Seahawks at Cardinals. I'm gonna go with the Seahawks. I keep saying the Cardinals are done, and they keep proving me wrong, but I got the Seahawks. B. Austin.
Seahawks.
Jimmy.
I'm taking the Seahawks.
All right, and the last game of the week, Jimmy's.
Who's playing quarterback for the Cardinals in that game? Like, I think B. Austin.
Yeah, I think B. Austin got called to get started this week. That's why, he goes into these little pockets of being quiet because he's studying the playbook. He got his iPad out while we're doing the show. Jimmy's Broncos at the Bengals. I'm going to go with the Broncos. Jimmy, who you going with?
I'm going with the Broncos because with the Bengals, you never know who's going to show up.
Yeah, they're like a box of chocolates. B. Austin, who you got?
I'm going with the most dominant and best player on the Broncos offense, C.J. Anderson. Who's going to lead them to victory.
The Bengals, you never know what you're going to get. All right, so let's go out talking a little NBA. We got a few interesting storylines in the NBA that we need to get to. I guess we could talk a little bit about that Rondo trade if we get to that in our freestyle segment. So, Jim, you got it, bro.
Yes, sir. It's time to talk basketball. For the best in your favorite team's merchandise and apparel, shop Fanatics. Shopping Fanatics is easy. Just go to our site, warroomsports.com, and click on the Fanatics logo on our main page, or you can also just click that Sponsors tab, and you'll see Fanatics right there as well. You can go to get the best in NFL, NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, NCAA gear, and more. warroomsports.com and click on Fanatics. It's time to talk basketball, gentlemen. The NBA players of the week for this past week have been John Wall and Fear the Beard James Harden. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to John Wall because I saw that little video after the game. We was talking about that, young girl or whatever. I shouldn't have watched it when I was cutting onions, but I did. So, shout out to John Wall. But, Dev, what did the statistics look like?
Yeah, man, John Wall, good dude. He got feelings and stuff. John Wall led the Wizards to a 4-0 record this week. They weren't the only team, though. The Chicago Bulls were also 3-0 this week in the East. But John Wall averaged 18.3 points, 11.8 assists to lead the league, and he tied for second in the conference with 2.5 steals. He had 3 double-doubles, of course, points and assists, and 26.17 assists game as they beat the Boston Celtics in double overtime. John Wall is officially balling. And that 4-0 week actually put them into the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference right now behind the Toronto Raptors. James Harden, he led the league with 34 points a game. The Rockets went 2-1 last week with wins over Sacramento and Denver. He was 5th in the conference in assists with 7.3 per game. And he was 2nd in steals and minutes. He had 2.67 steals per game last week. So Harden said, who don't play defense? He had 44 points against the Kings, and it was the 9th game this season in which he connected 10 or more foul shots. Yo, the beard gets to the foul line. If dude doesn't do nothing else, and he does a lot of other things, but the beard gets to the foul line. So shout out to John Wall and Fear the Beard James Harden on becoming NBA Players of the Week.
Yes, sir. B. Austin, anything you want to say about that beard?
About the biggest beard in the build. Yo, hashtag Beard Gang. We support that. Shout out to my man Jack Frost. Yo, I wish I was so much of a James Harden supporter, and I basically was putting my foot in my mouth just because of some of the things that we have known him to do, his lack of defensive integrity and intelligence, his showing of heart that pumps Kool-Aid in the playoffs. But all that being said, man, he's a very, very, very talented young man, and I could see him stepping into that best player or at least top 5 player in the world role because he's hovering in the top 10 anyway.
Yeah, see, I don't know. See, the reason I don't know because these young boys ain't playing. These light-skinned brothers getting a little bit of ball game now.
Your man Anthony Davis gets better every day.
He got better since our show started. Like, he got more skills between 6 and now. But like, so it's like. It's one of them things where Harden may be like, he may never crack that top 3, top 5, but he's definitely, one of the guys because when you look at the light-skinned brothers out Golden State and then Anthony Davis, like, I mean, speaking of young players, man, what do you guys think about Jabari Parker tearing his ACL?
Well, I thought this was going to happen because he's Derrick Rose's young boy. Y'all. So he's learning from the best.
Killed him. That's a tough blow for anybody, especially a young player. And his rookie season, by all accounts, he was number 1 in all the rookie rankings and was in the lead as far as rookie of the year is concerned. He has started to carve out a nice little niche for himself. We know he can score. He's the kind of matchup nightmare, and he has been throughout the beginning of the season. I know I always say I don't watch any basketball, but I know I always peek at I peek.
Yeah, you be lying.
It's all relative to how I used to watch basketball. Like I used to sit in the house and watch nothing else but basketball. But I've watched the young boy play a little bit. He was that kind of matchup. I'm not gonna call him a nightmare yet, but he was a matchup problem. The kind where it sounds cliche, but he can play big against the smaller defenders, and he can go around the bigger defenders, stuff like that. But it was true for him, and he was playing well. The Milwaukee Bucks were a little better than I expected them to be. So this is a tough blow because now the Rookie of the Year award is going to be up for grabs because so far, he had a stronghold on it. So we'll see how it goes. Shout out to the young boy. Hope he gets better real soon. And comes back stronger next season. But tough blow, man. Tough blow.
Yeah, man. I mean, it definitely is a tough blow. You never want to see this for no one, rookie season and all that, man. But it worked out for Blake. Anyway.
Well, that's because he never got to start it, so he was able to get his whole rookie season back.
He straight won rookie of the year, and they cheated somebody else out of their award. Because Blake.
He won rookie of the year when he was like 26 years old.
Yeah, he won Rookie of the Year in his second year, and he was like 37. But listen, though, big fundamentals, as Shaq once called him, Tim Duncan. He passed Jerry West on the all-time scoring list. So Tim Duncan is just adding to his already Hall of Fame resume. I'm not looking forward to his Hall of Fame speech. It'll probably be completely boring like him and his game, but he's still productive.
Yeah, shout out to Timmy. Moving up that list, I still have. I think Tim Duncan, of course, is one of the best players in NBA history, and saying one of the best players, that could be one of 100 dudes. Like, shout out to all the younger dudes we talk to every day who have no knowledge or care in the world about NBA history, but. It seems like to me, the longer Tim Duncan stays around, even though his team is successful and he's still playing at a pretty good level, not the level, a lot of people would like you to believe he's playing at. It seems like the longer he stays around, the more appreciation I personally have for dudes that came before him, because it was always noted. Everybody says adamantly, Tim Duncan is the greatest power forward in the history of the league. And for a minute, I think I started to believe that. But the longer he stays around, man, I don't know if I actually believe that. But Tim Duncan, he's still that dude.
The reason for that is because Tim Duncan had a 5-year, probably a 4-season stretch where he really was not that dominant. Like, he wasn't that dominant. He's since had a resurgence, I would say, over the last.
That's still going on. Dominating.
Over the last 2 seasons, he's rekindled some things. I don't know. He may have found that well of youth or eternal or everlasting life well or whatever. He looks a little bit more spry of step. But yeah,
his board work is going back up. His board work is back up to levels we're used to seeing. He's at 11 boards a game this season.
Respecting him passing Jerry West, salute to that. But I never thought he was the greatest power forward of all time.
I mean, I used to think Chuck was until Chuck said that slavery was cool, it was like a vacation. But listen, I sound like a Kobe hater right now. But anyway,
Chuck mouth messed it up.
I understand what Dev was saying in reference to Tim Duncan, but the only reason I don't feel that way is because when I flip the channel and watch Kevin Garnett, like his drop off is like 16 times worse than Duncan's. Like, I don't even know what he's doing. He just runs back and Kevin Garnett runs suicide for a living.
And the thing is, I was one of the last people. I was one of the last people to come around to the fact that Tim Duncan was better than Kevin Garnett in their prime.
It was neck
I was
and
still
neck
holding on to that. But now, man, yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. And this is a little bit of fandom. Because I love Kevin Garnett so much, I just pretend like he doesn't play. Like when I watch Brooklyn, I don't pay
He's not in the league.
I just pretend.
Pretend.
That's not. You know how, like, real talk. You know how when you see a relative and it really hits your heart because they're sick and they're decrepit and they're not. That's not who you remember. That's not KG out there. I don't know.
I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm gonna tell y'all something that's kind of. Yo, 20 games into the season, Kevin Garnett has 152 points.
Yo, come on. That's because it's not Kevin Garnett.
He has 152 points in 20 games.
Yo,
he's averaging 7.6.
That's not him. I watched the Brooklyn Nets.
The sad part about that is Kevin Garnett has like 2 of the biggest contracts in the history of sports because of how productive and how great he was. And a lot of people, like especially a lot of the youth now, when they watch this guy, they're gonna be like, I don't get all the hype. They're gonna forget just how good he was. I mean, he was the big ticket.
Can't y'all just join me? Can't y'all just join me in what I'm trying to do and just pretend that that's not him? It's someone
just
else.
Forget the last 2 seasons at least. Just forget the last 2 seasons. Let's take it back to a time. Let's take it back to a time when Kevin Garnett was averaging 24 and 14 in the 03-04 season for Minnesota. Let's take it back to those times.
No. We can even go to 08. We can go to 20. We can go to 2010 and cut it off there, and then he left. Like these last few years, that's
almost 15 a game. 2010.
Yeah.
2012, 2013 was at 14.
Yeah, to get back to the original point, the only reason I don't see Tim Duncan that way is because Kevin Garnett stays around. So as long as he stays around, I still have more respect for Tim Duncan because he's playing a lot higher level than KG.
Yeah.
Speaking of scoring lists and moving up, Kobe Bean Bryant passes Michael Jordan for 3rd on the all-time scoring list, and he pretty much breaks the internet.
Jimmy about to get mad at me because we talking.
All we did was report it.
Isn't doing.
All we did was report it. We didn't congratulate the man or anything. Kobe passes Michael Jordan for 3rd on the list. First comment. Well, y'all know it took Kobe 18 seasons and we didn't say none of that. We just said he passed him. That's a fact. That's a milestone. We reported it. Like this dude can't do anything without getting shade thrown at him. We know the difference. That's why there's a scoring average. That's why there's a such thing. And Michael Jordan averages almost 5 more points per game in his career than Kobe Bryant. So we understand that. But that wasn't what the milestone was about.
Kobe Bryant and his ability to be polarizing. Kobe Bryant, honestly, I'm being honest here, is part of the reason that I hate you human beings. I hate all y'all because you say some of the most ridiculous things when it comes to Kobe. We're just talking about Kevin Garnett being a ghost and not really being alive anymore, but still somebody running around in the league averaging like 7, 4, and 2. And Tim Duncan still doing well. Yo, Kobe Bryant is legitimately a top 4 shooting guard putting up like 25 in his 19th year. Yo, he's been doing it for like 19 years, cuz.
All people want to talk about is shooting percentage.
19 years! Oh, 25! Yo, he's putting up like 24, 25 a game. And come on, man. Give this man his due. Congrats, man.
Reggie shattered on him as well. What Reggie say, Jim?
He said something like like Michael Jordan on his birthday was still 10 times better.
Oh, I'm asking you. I got the quotes right here. My bad. He was on the Dan Patrick show. Dan Patrick asked him who was tougher to guard, Kobe or Mike. He said, no question. Michael Jordan on his worst day is 10 times better than Kobe Bryant on his best day. And that's not shortchanging Kobe Bryant because he gave me my lunch pail too. Michael Jordan on his worst day, I will take over Kobe Bryant on his best day. He went on to say some nicer stuff, but that stuff made the headlines. I don't know if y'all want to hear the nice stuff. We might not have time to hear the nice stuff.
But here's the thing, though. It's one of those things where that makes him look better. It's sort of like when you see Jordan big up Joe Dumars because it makes Mike look better. People love to say things that make them look better.
But sometimes you play with you play Russian roulette with your credibility when you say stuff like that. Now, the only reason why Reggie's gonna have 1 million followers who say, I'm with you, Reggie, is because like one of you guys just mentioned, Kobe is so polarizing. So there are a lot of guys, even though they don't believe this in their heart, they're going to agree with that. And then you got a lot of people who are just Mike stans and thinks he's 10 times better than everybody. So, but these comments were ridiculous. I agree Michael Jordan is better than Kobe Bryant. But 10 times better than Kobe Bryant, I think that's a ridiculous statement. Like, I really do. I think it's ridiculous. Yeah. And coming from somebody who played against both of these guys, I think that's even worse than a dumbass fan saying it. So, Reggie,
I think Cheryl Miller was 10 times better than Reggie.
See, but the thing is, if you say that to Reggie gonna say, "I know."
Yeah, he gonna say, "I agree."
Reggie's already said that 25 times, so you're not gonna win that.
Thing is this though, man. I don't even blame Mike at this point, believe it or not. This is all Nike's.
This is all Mike Fink. This is Mike Fink. Mike.
This right here, and I know Dev was a marketing major and a marketing guy. Like this right here is the power of marketing. And it shows you that, like, what Nike did, their partnership with Jordan, like, worked for both of them. It made both of them wealthy beyond belief. But, I mean, you think about what Nike is now, that was all built on the back of Mike. Because I know that sometimes talking to kids now, Nike has always been that thing. But when we were, like, fairly young and before Nike wasn't even like that. Like, it was Adidas and, like, Reebok, Pumas. Like, Nike was...
I'd rather have a pair of Pumas back in the day than some Nike.
They weren't Bobos, but that's some old school slang right there. They weren't Bobos, but they were like I don't know about Bobos. They just weren't what they are now. But with that partnership, and it worked for both of them. And now, like Dev always says, people don't believe that Mike once got criticism. It's like revisionist history, and it's all due to Nike.
Got the exact same criticism that Kobe gets. People hate Kobe for the exact same reasons that we love Mike.
They love Mike. Yo,
I'm a fan of both of them. It is possible.
Yeah.
Pit everybody against each other. I'm a fan of Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. They're the same player.
Anyway, man, with that being said, we got to get out of here, man. We shall talk more hoops later on. But thanks for joining us again in the War Room, good people. Shout out to everybody in the chat room, those on Facebook and Twitter. All the calls who chimed in, we appreciate it. Special thanks to Fred Perdue of collegefootballextra.com. Tune in next week. Same time, same place, live right here or on demand on the WRS Podcast Network for some more great sports talk. We'll recap NFL Week 16, preview Week 17, and touch on tons of other topics. So until then, enjoy your week, and we'll see you right back here next time. Be sure to catch our conversations, Facebook, Twitter. That's at War Room Sports, webcast, warroomsportstv.com, and all of our network shows on WRSPN.com. Until next time, everybody, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance. We'll see you chumps on top.
I believe it when I see it. Mayweather and Pacquiao.
6 to 8. Yeah. War Room Sports. Y'all ready? Let's go. Stay in tune to Jimmy. Know the blueprint. Every Thursday, 6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Dev, PJ, B. Austin, Doc Bay on replay. WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. If not, dial 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like Magic in the box course. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip-hop scholars, tip-stop and knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Corporate secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, Dad, DJ, Jack Beck, B. Austin. I'm Jack. Up and coming on the beat.
War Room Sports. www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.